The old commander sat alone in the hall, his medals shining in the soft light of the evening. Around him, soldiers laughed, drank, and celebrated. It was his last night as a warrior of the Terran fleet. Tomorrow, he would retire. Tomorrow, the galaxy would call him a legend of the past, not a soldier of the present. For years, he had fought battles on forgotten planets, defended colonies, and faced enemies no one else dared to stand against. He had carried the weight of humanity's pride on his shoulders. He had lost friends, seen blood, and buried memories that never left his mind. But tonight was not about war. Tonight was about him. The council of officers raised their glasses. One of them shouted, "Commander, you serve humanity for 40 years. You gave your life to defend us. Tell us, what do you want as your gift? We will honor any wish you speak." The room grew quiet. Everyone leaned forward, expecting him to ask for a ship of his own, a fortune in credits, or a seat of power in the council. He had earned it. He could have claimed almost anything. The commander leaned back in his chair. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "I want only one thing," he said slowly. "When I retire, I want one alien companion, a woman, not human, someone who will share silence with me, someone who will remind me that the galaxy is bigger than war." Gasps filled the hall. Some laughed, thinking it was a joke. Others frowned, whispering to each other. A request like this was unusual. Gifts were often made of metal, gold, or land, but this man wanted life. He wanted a presence, a stranger from another world to live beside him. "Only one?" asked an officer. "After all you have done for us? Just one alien?" The commander nodded. "Yes, just one." The officers looked at each other, confused, but none could deny his right. He was the hero of the fleet. If he wanted an alien companion, then the fleet would give him one. The decision was made that very night. They would send for a chosen alien woman, and she would be brought to him as his retirement gift. The celebration carried on, but whispers followed every laugh. Soldiers questioned his choice. Why would a man who had fought aliens for decades now want to live with one? Was it loneliness? Was it madness? Or is it something else? The commander did not explain. He sat quietly, watching the stars through the tall windows. The galaxy outside seemed endless. He remembered battles fought under those stars. He remembered promises broken and victories that felt empty. Perhaps this was why he asked for something different. He wanted not a weapon, but peace, not a prize, but company. When the party ended, he walked through the silent corridors of the station. The lights flickered gently. His footsteps echoed on the metal floor. He paused by the viewport, staring at a distant nebula glowing in red and blue. His reflection stared back at him. Older, marked by scars, his request was strange, but in his heart, it felt right. Far away, in hidden chambers of the Fleet Council, orders were already being written. A shuttle would be prepared. A choice would be made. Somewhere in the galaxy, an alien woman would be chosen for him. She would be sent as a gift, a symbol of peace. But the commander did not know one truth. He would not receive one. The gift would arrive as two, and with them his life would never remain the same. That night, he dreamed. In his dream, he saw two figures walking through smoke. One was calm, shining like silver. The other burned like fire. They both looked at him with eyes that knew his soul. He woke with a start. His heart beat fast. He did not know why he dreamed of two. Morning came, the day of retirement. The station bells rang. Soldiers gathered. The commander stood tall, hiding the weight of age under his proud stance. Today, his wish would be answered. Today, the galaxy would give him his strange gift. But in the shadows of the hangar, the shuttle was already approaching, carrying not one, but two destinies, two surprises, two lives that would change his own. And though he did not know it yet, the story of his gift was not the story of an ending. It was the story of a beginning. The hangar was alive with sound. Engines hummed, metal doors creaked, and the air smelled of fuel and ozone. Soldiers stood in line, curious eyes fixed on the shuttle that was descending slowly through the force field. The commander stood at the front, his arms behind his back, his face calm. But deep inside, his heart beat harder than he wanted to admit. The shuttle touched down with a hiss. Its landing struts locked in place, and the ramp began to lower. A soft mist rolled out, glowing faintly under the hangar lights. Every soldier leaned forward, waiting. Some whispered bets about what kind of alien would appear. Others stayed silent, uneasy at the thought of a human commander sharing his life with a non-human companion. At first, only shadows moved within the mist. A slender figure appeared, tall, graceful, her outline different from any human. She stepped down slowly, her skin a shade of pale silver that shimmered as though it carried starlight. Her eyes glowed faint blue, her face both strange and beautiful. The hangar fell silent. The commander studied her carefully. She was calm, her movements quiet. She carried herself like someone born to dignity. Soldiers exchanged glances. Some felt awe, others unease. This must be the gift, the alien woman chosen for him. But before the silence settled, another figure appeared at the top of the ramp. This one moved differently. Her steps were bold, almost sharp, her skin darker, with streaks of crimson running like living veins. Her eyes burned with fire. She looked younger, fiercer. She was not calm like the first. She was wild, restless. Two aliens stood before him now, not one. The soldiers gasped, confusion spreading like a wave. This was not the deal, someone muttered under their breath. The commander did not speak at first. He looked from one to the other. The first alien stood still, her hands folded before her, eyes soft. The second crossed her arms, her gaze scanning the humans around her as though they were threats. The contrast between them was clear. Night and day, calm and fire. Finally, the commander broke the silence, his voice steady. I asked for one. Why are there two? The officer in charge of the shuttle shifted uncomfortably. Order, sir. We were told to deliver both. No explanation given. The commander frowned. His request had been simple. One alien companion to live by his side. Yet now fate had doubled his gift. He turned back to the two aliens, studying them closely. They looked alike in subtle ways. The shape of their faces, the curve of their eyes. Were they sisters or rivals? The first alien bowed slightly. Her voice was soft, melodic. I am Lyra. I was chosen to be your companion. I will bring peace. The second stepped forward quickly, her tone sharper. And I am Kaylin. I was not chosen. I came because no one controls me. If you accept her, you must accept me. Gasps echoed through the hangar. The soldiers could not believe the boldness of her words. To speak so directly to a decorated human commander was unheard of, but the fire in her eyes dared anyone to challenge her. The commander's lips curved into the faintest smile. He had faced countless battles, but this was different. Two alien women, so opposite, yet bound together, stood before him, a gift that was already turning into a mystery. The council had given no reason. The officers had no answers. And now the commander felt the weight of destiny pressing on his shoulders. He had wanted silence, peace, the company of one. Instead, he had been given two storms. That night, he returned to his quarters with both of them walking behind him. The soldiers watched in silence, some with pity, some with envy, and others with fear, for they all felt the same thing. This was not an ordinary gift. This was the start of something none of them could understand. In his room, the commander poured a glass of water, his hand steady though his mind was restless. Two of you, he said slowly. One calm, one fierce. Tell me why. Lyra lowered her gaze. Because peace cannot exist without conflict, she whispered. Kaylin smirked, her eyes glowing like embers. And conflict cannot exist without peace, she added. The commander froze. The answer was strange, almost like a riddle. He realized then that his life had just stepped into a mystery larger than himself. Outside his window, the stars burned bright. Two shadows now walked in his halls. Two voices spoke in his silence. He had asked for one alien companion, but the galaxy had given him two, and with them, his future had been rewritten. The commander's quarters had always been a place of silence. For years, he had lived in order and discipline. His room was clean, his table simple, his bed sharp and narrow like a soldier's. But now the silence was gone. Two sets of footsteps echoed on the metal floor. Two alien presences filled the air with tension. Lyra, the calm one, sat quietly near the window. She looked at the stars with soft, glowing eyes. Her presence was like cool water, gentle and steady. Kaylin, the fiery one, paced the room, her movements restless. Her crimson streaks seemed to shimmer whenever she grew impatient. She was heat and flame. Lyra was light and calm. The commander sat between them, his mind heavy with questions. Why had the council given him two? Why these two? He had asked for peace, not conflict, and yet he felt something unusual. It was as if fate itself had chosen to test him. Days passed slowly. The base around him returned to normal routine. Soldiers trained, ships launched, and patrols continued. But everywhere he walked, whispers followed. They watched the two alien women who never left his side. Some said they were spies. Others believed they were slaves, but no one dared question him directly. One evening, he invited both to the dining hall. Soldiers pretended not to stare. Lyra ate slowly, with delicate hands. Kaylin ate quickly, boldly, meeting the eyes of anyone who dared look at her. The hall was heavy with tension. The commander noticed the difference between them was not just in behavior. It was in their very essence. Later that night, he asked, "Who are you truly? Why were you both sent to me?" Lyra answered first, her voice calm. "I was chosen by your council. They wanted to honor your wish. I am here for peace, to remind you of quiet." Kaylin leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "And I came because peace without strength is weakness. I protect what she cannot. I fight when she refuses. I am here not because they sent me, but because I chose to come." The commander listened. His instincts as a soldier told him this was no accident. Lyra and Kaylin were not simply two aliens. They were two halves of something greater, something he was not yet meant to see. Strange things began to happen. Communications in the base sometimes cut off, as if jammed by invisible waves. Lights flickered when the sisters walked together. Some soldiers reported hearing whispers in alien languages when no one else was around. The commander noticed it too. Lyra's calm eyes sometimes glowed brighter when Kaylin grew angry, as if they were connected in ways beyond sight. One night, as he rested, he heard them speaking softly in a tongue he could not understand. He closed his eyes, pretending to sleep, but his mind recorded every sound. Their voices were different. Lyra's gentle, Kaylin's sharp, but the rhythm of their speech matched like a song. He stored the memory in his personal AI recorder. Later, he fed the words into the translator system. The result came back fragmented, broken, but a single phrase stood clear, bound by blood, divided by fire. The commander froze. The meaning was uncertain, but powerful. Were they sisters? Enemies? Or something far more dangerous? The next day, he tested them. He asked Lyra to join him in training simulations. She moved with grace, avoiding conflict, using speed and calm to evade attacks. Then he asked Kaylin. She fought like fire, fierce, direct, her strikes sharp and wild. When the simulation ended, the commander realized the truth. Alone, each was incomplete, but together they formed balance. That night, as the base lights dimmed, the commander stood by the window, Lyra at his right, Kaylin at his left, two opposites bound together, two gifts that were not gifts at all. He realized his life was no longer his own. The council had not given him a companion. They had given him a mystery. And in that moment, for the first time in many years, the commander felt something he had not felt since the war began. He felt fear. Not of battle, but of destiny. The stars outside glimmered cold. The galaxy watched, silent, as two alien women stood by the side of a man who had only asked for one. The first surprise had come, and it was only the beginning. The commander was a man who had lived through countless battles. He had faced alien fleets, rebel uprisings, and silent ambushes in the dark of space. But nothing in his long life had prepared him for the mystery of two alien women who now walked beside him every day. At first, the soldiers of the base grew used to their presence, but soon whispers began to spread. Equipment failed without reason. Lights flickered in entire corridors. Communication relays broke down and restarted as if touched by invisible hands. At first, the crew blamed faulty wiring, but the timing was too precise. These incidents always seemed to happen when Lyra and Kaylin were near. The commander noticed it. He watched closely. Lyra often stared at the broken systems with calm eyes, and within minutes, they would spark back to life as if repaired by unseen energy. Kaylin, on the other hand, would laugh when things broke, her fiery gaze daring the humans to blame her. One night, alarms rang across the base. A security breach had been detected in the archives. The commander rushed to the chamber. Soldiers surrounded the vault doors, weapons ready. Inside, nothing seemed stolen, but the data logs revealed something strange. Someone had accessed classified galactic files using a code that did not exist in human systems. The soldiers grew restless. "It has to be them," one whispered. "The aliens," another added. "They're not gifts, they're spies." The commander silenced them with a sharp glance, but inside his thoughts were not at ease. He remembered his dream. The two figures, one of silver light, one of fire. He had not told anyone about it, but now the dream felt like a warning. That evening, he questioned them directly. "Why are you here? What are you hiding?" Lyra bowed her head. "I bring you peace, Commander. Nothing more." Kaylin stepped forward with a defiant smirk. "And I bring fire. I protect her. I protect us. That is all you need to know." The commander studied them both. His instincts told him they were lying, or at least hiding something greater than words. But their eyes burned with conviction, and for reasons he could not explain, he did not turn them away. Over the next days, the base fell under a strange atmosphere. Soldiers avoided crossing paths with the aliens. Some claimed they felt heat when Kaylin walked past, as if her body carried a furnace. Others swore Lyra's presence made them calmer, their anger fading as soon as she looked at them. It was as if the sisters carried forces of nature within them. One late night, as the commander walked the silent halls, he found Kaylin standing alone in the training arena. She moved with sharp precision, her fists striking the air. Every blow released sparks that danced and vanished before touching the ground. He watched quietly until she noticed. "You fear us," Kaylin said with a grin, "but you also need us." The commander's eyes narrowed. "What are you?" She tilted her head. "We are more than companions, more than what your council told you. We are storm and silence, life and death. Together we are balance, apart we are chaos." Before he could ask more, Lyra appeared at the doorway. Her calm eyes softened the air. "Kaylin," she said gently, "enough." The fiery one growled but obeyed. The commander saw it clearly then, the strange bond between them. Lyra restrained the storm. Kaylin defended the light. Later, as he sat alone in his quarters, he played the old translator recording again. "Bound by blood, divided by fire." The words echoed in his mind, and for the first time, he realized something terrifying. The sisters were not simply his companions. They were exiles carrying secrets powerful enough to shake the galaxy. That night, he could not sleep. The shadows of his room felt heavier. The silence of space outside the window felt closer. Something was building. Something was coming. The commander had asked for peace, but the galaxy had given him a storm, and now he wondered, was this gift a blessing or the beginning of his destruction? The commander had lived his life by one rule: always trust his instincts. They had saved him in battle, in negotiations, and even in moments when death seemed certain, and now his instincts told him something was wrong. The two alien women were not simple companions. They were hiding something deeper, something dangerous. One evening, when the base was quiet, he activated his private AI. He fed it more fragments of the strange alien language he had recorded. For hours the system processed, symbols flashing across the screen. Finally, the translation came through. The words were clear enough to chill his blood. "We are the last heirs of the fallen empire. We must remain hidden, for the hunters are still searching." The commander leaned back slowly. His chest felt heavy. The council had told him nothing about this. They had not given him companions. They had delivered fugitives, royal fugitives, sisters of a lost throne. He closed the system and sat in silence, his mind turning. If this truth spread through the base, panic would erupt. Soldiers would see them not as companions, but as threats. Worse, if the Galactic Council discovered the truth, they would demand the sisters be surrendered, perhaps even executed. That night, he confronted them. "You are not gifts," he said firmly. "You are exiles. Tell me everything, or I will have no choice but to hand you over." Lyra looked down, her calm eyes filled with sorrow. Kalen's fire burned brighter, ready to fight, but for once they did not argue with each other. Instead, Lyra spoke softly. Yes, Commander, it is true, we are not here by choice. We are the daughters of the Solaris Empire, a kingdom that once ruled the stars. It was destroyed by war, and we were hunted. Kalen stepped forward, her voice sharp like a blade. We survived because we ran, we survived because we hid, and now we are here, delivered to you, not by accident but by destiny. The commander felt his throat tighten. He had fought wars against empires like theirs. He had seen what ambition and power could do to entire galaxies. And now, 2 living heirs of such a kingdom stood in his quarters. Why me? He asked at last. Why were you sent to me, of all people? Lyra's voice trembled. Because you are a man of honor. They knew you would not betray us. They knew you had grown tired of war. And so they placed us in your care, hoping peace would guide your choice. Kalen crossed her arms, fire in her tone. Or maybe they sent us here to test you, to see if you would hand us over, to see if you are truly different from the others who fear power. The commander paced slowly. His heart pounded as he weighed the truth. If he protected them, he would be accused of treason. If he gave them up, he would betray the trust that had been forced upon him. Either path led to danger. Over the next days, the weight of the secret grew heavier. Reports came in of strange ships spotted near the outer sectors. Hunters, perhaps, searching. Soldiers whispered again. Some claimed the aliens were cursed. Others believed they carried weapons unseen. The commander kept his silence, but the pressure built like a storm behind his eyes. One evening, as he stood alone by the window, Lyra approached quietly. You doubt us, she said gently. But know this, Commander, we did not come to harm you. We came because fate left us no choice. Kalen joined them, her eyes blazing like molten fire. But if they come for us, if they come for me and my sister, blood will burn, and the galaxy will remember. The commander turned to face them both, his voice steady though his soul felt shaken. If I protect you, I will make enemies. If I betray you, I will betray myself. You asked for my choice, but I am not ready. Not yet. That night, he lay awake. The base around him was quiet, but his mind was louder than any war he had fought. He now knew the truth. Their gift was not companionship, but a burden, a secret that could ignite war again. The sisters slept in the next chamber, unaware that the commander's loyalty was breaking apart under the weight of destiny. The hidden truth had been revealed, and now the question was no longer who they were, but what would he do with them? The commander's life had been filled with choices in battle. He had chosen who lived and who died. On the council floor, he had chosen which colonies to save and which to abandon. But never before had a choice weighed on him like this one. 2 alien sisters, heirs to a fallen empire, now stood under his protection, and the galaxy was beginning to notice. It began with a message from the Galactic Council, a summons, sealed with urgency. They demanded he report to the chamber immediately. The council did not wait for retired soldiers unless the matter was grave. He knew before even opening the message what it would be about. When he entered the chamber, dozens of holographic faces flickered around him, leaders from human and allied worlds. Their expressions were sharp, their voices cold. Commander, one counselor said, reports have reached us of 2 alien fugitives under your care. Another leaned forward, sisters of the Solaris line, last of a dangerous empire. Do you deny it? The commander stood tall. I do not deny their presence, he said, his voice calm but firm. But they are not enemies. They are survivors. Murmurs filled the chamber. The counselors were not satisfied. One voice cut through the noise, sharp and final. You will surrender them to us, Commander, for questioning, for safety. Their existence cannot remain in your hands. He felt the weight of the order pressing on him. To surrender them would mean betrayal. To keep them would mean open defiance. The council's authority was not to be challenged lightly, but the thought of handing Lyra and Kalen over made his chest burn. That night, he returned to the base. His soldiers waited. Their eyes questioned him silently. Some wanted him to obey, to keep the peace. Others whispered loyalty to him, willing to follow whatever path he chose. Lyra stood in his quarters, her eyes full of sadness. "They will come for us," she said, "and if you give us to them, we will not survive." Kaelin stood beside her, her voice sharp as fire. "Let them come. We will not bow. We will burn them before they take us." The commander clenched his fists. He felt the war inside him. Duty against honor, law against trust. For years, he had followed orders without question, but now he found himself hesitating. He remembered the faces of soldiers lost under his command. He remembered the hollow victories. He remembered wishing for peace. And now peace stood before him, fragile but alive, two sisters whose fate had been thrown into his hands. The council sent another message. This time, their words were harsher. "You have one cycle to decide, Commander, surrender the fugitives or be stripped of your honor and command." The soldiers of the base felt the tension. Rumors spread faster than truth. Some believed the sisters had cursed the commander. Others claimed he was preparing for rebellion. Whispers turned into fear. Fear turned into anger. The air on the base was heavy like a storm about to break. The commander met with his closest officers. They asked him plainly, "Will you obey or defy?" He looked at them in silence. His answer did not come in words, but in his eyes. He was not ready to betray the sisters. Not yet. That night, Kaelin approached him as he stood by the viewport, staring into the endless stars. "You cannot serve two masters," she said. "Either you follow them, or you follow yourself." Lyra stepped forward softly. "But know this, Commander, if you choose us, you choose danger, you choose war." He turned to face them, his voice steady. "War has followed me all my life. I asked for peace, but destiny gave me you, and now I must choose, not for the council, not for the soldiers, but for myself." Outside, the stars seemed to flicker like dying embers. The council's deadline drew closer. The choice could no longer be delayed. And as the night fell over the base, the commander finally understood the truth. He was not choosing between surrender and defiance. He was choosing the shape of the galaxy's future. The commander stood in silence. The council's deadline ticked closer. The weight of his decision pressed on him like a mountain. He had been given one cycle to surrender the alien sisters, one cycle to prove his loyalty to the galaxy. But deep inside, he knew his choice was already made. He could not betray them, not after what he had learned. That evening, the base grew restless. Soldiers whispered about rebellion. Others prepared for a fight. The air was heavy, as if the station itself was holding its breath. The commander called for Lyra and Kaelin. They entered his quarters quietly, their faces shadowed by the dim light. "You must know," he began, his voice steady. "The council will come. They will not stop until they have you. If I protect you, war will follow. If I surrender you, my honor dies." Lyra stepped forward, her calm voice carrying a weight beyond her years. "Commander, you have carried the burden of war for too long. But you are not alone now. We did not come here by chance. We came because the galaxy is changing, and you are part of that change." Kaelin's eyes blazed. "You still don't understand. You think we are fugitives, but we are more than that. We are the last heirs of Solaris, yes, but also the keepers of its legacy. And that legacy is not only blood, it is power." The commander frowned. His hand brushed the edge of the table. "What kind of power?" The sisters exchanged a glance. For once, their fire and calm united in a single purpose. Lyra raised her hand. A soft glow spread across her palm, filling the room with silver light. Kaelin raised hers, and flames crackled in the air. Heat and light clashed, not against each other but together, forming a strange harmony. The commander felt the energy ripple through the room. His skin tingled. The walls vibrated. The sisters were not simply aliens. They were forces bound by something deeper. Lyra's voice was soft but steady. "We were created as more than rulers. Our blood carries the resonance of Solaris technology, ancient power hidden from the galaxy for centuries. With it, we can awaken what was lost." Kaelin's voice cut sharp as steel. "And with it, we can burn down those who would hunt us. We are not weak. We are not prey. We are weapons the galaxy forgot. But we choose where to stand. We choose who to follow." The commander's breath caught. He realized then the true meaning of his dream. The silver figure and the fireborn shadow, they were not just companions. They were destiny itself. Lyra stepped closer, her glowing eyes meeting his. "Commander, we pledge to you, not as gifts, not as prisoners, but as allies. Protect us, and we will protect you. Stand with us, and we will change the galaxy." Kaylin smirked, her fiery gaze burning with promise. "You asked for one alien woman to share your silence. Instead, you have two sisters who will shake the stars. What will you do, Commander?" For a long moment, he said nothing. His life had been one of duty, of following orders. But here, at the edge of his retirement, fate had given him a new path, not of peace, not of surrender, but of choice. Finally, he lifted his head. His voice was calm, but beneath it lay the fire of a man reborn. "Then we stand together. No council, no empire, no hunter will take you from me. From this moment, your fight is mine." The sisters bowed, Lyra with grace, Kaylin with pride. Their powers faded into silence, but the air still hummed with energy. Outside the viewport, the stars shimmered like silent witnesses. The commander had asked for one gift, one companion to share his final years. Instead, he had gained two heirs of a fallen empire, two forces of power and destiny. And in their eyes, he saw not the end of his story, but the beginning of another. The council would come, war might follow. The galaxy itself might tremble, but for the first time in many years, the commander felt alive. He had not been given peace, but purpose, and purpose was stronger than fear. He looked at the sisters, his voice low but certain. "Let them come," he said. "We will be ready."